Have you ever found yourself wondering, is it still okay to feel desire at this age? What does it mean for my health if I still masturbate at 70 or 80? You're not alone. This is a topic many older adults think about, quietly, even with a bit of guilt. But here's the truth. Masturbation is still a natural and valid part of life, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. The real question isn't whether it's right or wrong, but how it affects your health now that your body is older, your hormones have changed, and your needs are different. Because what once felt simple now comes with new challenges, silent risks, emotional layers, and powerful opportunities to reconnect with your body in meaningful ways. In today's video, we'll explore 8 critical truths about masturbation and aging. From hormonal shifts and circulation changes, to emotional wellness, social stigma, medical concerns, and how to embrace this part of your life with safety, dignity, and confidence. This isn't just about pleasure. It's about protecting your heart, your brain, and your independence as you age. Whether you're navigating this journey on your own or supporting someone you love, what you learn today might reshape how you view sexuality in later life and how you care for yourself moving forward. If you believe conversations like this matter, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more honest and supportive content on senior health and aging well. Now let's begin with habit number 1, how aging changes your body and what that means for your sexual health. Habit number 1, ignoring how your body has changed over time. Let's start with a simple truth. Your body at 70 or 80 is not the same body you had at 30, and yet, many older adults still treat their sexuality as if nothing has changed. Take Mr. Raymond, for example. He's 76. He spent most of his life healthy, active, and confident. But lately, he's felt a growing frustration. Self-pleasure, something that used to feel easy and comforting, now leaves him feeling disconnected. He wonders if he's doing something wrong, or if something's wrong with him. But here's the thing. He's not broken. His body is simply different now. As we age, testosterone levels in men and estrogen in women decline steadily. That leads to reduced libido, changes in arousal patterns, and a decrease in natural lubrication or sensitivity. Blood flow slows, muscles weaken, and even the pelvic floor, the very muscles that support pleasure, can lose tone. For many, these changes make climax more difficult or less intense. So when older adults approach intimacy or masturbation the same way they did decades ago, it can feel frustrating or even discouraging. But what if we reframed the experience? What if aging isn't the end of pleasure, but simply the beginning of a new relationship with your body? Here's what you can do. Instead, adapt your expectations. Understand that pleasure might take more time, more intention, and more patience. That's not a problem. It's an invitation to slow down and reconnect. Use lubrication. Don't underestimate the power of a good lubricant, especially for women after menopause. Go for water-based or silicone-based lubricants that reduce discomfort and enhance sensitivity. Strengthen your pelvic floor. Exercises like Kegels, yes, even for men, can improve blood flow, control, and sensation in the pelvic region. A few minutes a day can make a real difference over time. Create a comforting environment. Light a candle. Play soft music. Choose a time when you're relaxed and unhurried. This isn't about performance. It's about connection. Speak with a professional. Sexual health specialists or even general practitioners can offer treatments, devices, or hormone therapies that may support your goals. You don't have to figure this out alone. And remember, your worth, your dignity, and your right to feel pleasure haven't disappeared with time. They've simply evolved. Habit number 2, overexerting yourself without realizing the strain. At 73, Margaret still felt young at heart. She lived alone, took daily walks, and occasionally enjoyed private moments of intimacy, something she saw as a beautiful part of staying connected to her body. But one afternoon, after a long, lonely day, she decided to relieve some stress. What she didn't expect was the sudden chest tightness, the shortness of breath, and the hours of fatigue that followed. She brushed it off, but it kept happening. And eventually, it scared her. Margaret isn't alone. What many older adults don't realize is that even gentle physical exertion, especially during sexual activity, can place extra stress on the heart, particularly if you have underlying conditions like high blood pressure, arrhythmia, or past heart issues. Here's why. During moments of sexual arousal or climax, your heart rate and blood pressure rise naturally. For younger adults, this temporary spike is usually harmless, but after age 70, your heart may not recover from these spikes as quickly or safely as before. The risk is even greater if you're living with conditions like coronary artery disease or taking medications that alter your heart rhythm. You might think, it's just masturbation, I'm not running a marathon. But to your cardiovascular system, it might feel like a sprint. Signs to watch for: unusual shortness of breath during or after self-pleasure, chest discomfort or tightness, dizziness or lightheadedness, prolonged fatigue or weakness afterward. If you've experienced any of these, it's not a reason for shame. It's a reason for awareness. So what can you do? Know your limits. Just like you'd pace yourself during exercise, treat intimacy with the same respect. Take your time. Breathe. Don't push through discomfort. Choose comfortable positions. Avoid straining your joints, neck, or chest. Use pillows for support or lie down in a way that feels gentle on your body. Time. It wisely. Engage in sexual activity when your energy is highest, perhaps after a meal or rest, not when you're already physically tired or emotionally depleted. Speak with your doctor. Yes, it may feel awkward, but your health matters more than embarrassment. Ask your doctor if your heart medications or condition require any precautions during intimacy. Shift the focus. Remember that intimacy isn't about achieving a goal. It's about connection, release, and well-being. Even simple touch or sensual exploration without climax can be deeply satisfying. Margaret eventually spoke with her cardiologist, who adjusted one of her medications and encouraged gentle activity. She now feels safer and more confident, enjoying those moments again. The lesson here is simple. Your heart is doing its best to carry you through the years. Treat it kindly, even in private. Coming up next in habit number 3, we'll explore something that affects far more than the body: how guilt and emotional stigma can quietly sabotage your well-being. Shall we keep going? Habit Factor 3: letting guilt and shame take over your intimate life. When Henry's wife passed away, he was 75. He'd spent over 4 decades in a loving marriage, filled with affection, intimacy, and laughter. But now, living alone, he found himself experiencing private urges. And every time he acted on them, he felt ashamed. "It's not right," he whispered to himself one night. "I'm too old for this." He would quickly dress, avoid mirrors, and carry the weight of guilt like a secret shadow. Sound familiar? For many older adults, especially those raised in conservative homes or religious environments, masturbation is tied to old messages of sin, shame, or moral failure. And even in modern times, society often ignores or ridicules the idea of seniors having sexual feelings. But here's the truth. Sexual desire doesn't vanish with age. In fact, it remains a part of your emotional, physical, and even spiritual identity for life. The real harm isn't in the act. It's in believing that something natural and healthy is wrong or dirty. How guilt affects your health. Stress and tension. Suppressed emotions can create physical tension in the body, leading to headaches, fatigue, and poor sleep. Lowered self-esteem. Constant shame can make you feel less than, undeserving of joy or connection. Isolation. When you hide parts of yourself, it can push you further into loneliness and disconnect. Anxiety around intimacy. Guilt may stop you from exploring emotional or physical connection, even when you crave it. Let's be clear. There is no expiration date on human intimacy. Touch, pleasure, connection, these are not indulgences. They are part of the human experience. So, how can you let go of guilt? Challenge the story. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Is it yours? Or an outdated belief someone else gave you? Speak kindly to yourself. Remind yourself that masturbation is safe, private, and backed by science as a stress reliever, mood booster, and even a sleep aid. Connect with trusted communities. Join senior groups. Watch content that affirms older sexuality, or speak with professionals who understand aging and intimacy. Try journaling. Write out your thoughts before or after private time. It can help you reframe the experience as natural, not shameful. Practice mindfulness. Instead of rushing or feeling embarrassed, slow down. Light a candle. Create a relaxing space. See your self-care as sacred, not secret. Henry eventually spoke to a grief counselor who gently helped him reframe his thinking. Now he sees intimacy, not as a betrayal of the past, but as an act of honoring his own emotional needs in the present. Your body is not a source of shame, it's a source of life. And embracing your sexuality with compassion is one more way of saying, I still matter. I still feel. I still deserve joy. Next up in habit number 4, we'll look at how ignoring your environment, like poor lighting or unsafe spaces, can turn a private moment into a serious safety hazard. Ready to keep going? Habit number 4, ignoring your environment and putting yourself at risk. Let's talk about something most people never associate with intimacy: your physical surroundings. For 78-year-old Margaret, her nightly routine had become a quiet ritual. After brushing her teeth and locking the front door, she'd slip into bed, turn off the light, and enjoy a few minutes of private comfort. But one evening, she reached for the nightstand in the dark and accidentally knocked over a glass of water. Startled, she leaned over to clean it up, lost her balance, and fell. She spent the night on the floor, bruised, shaken, and completely alone. Margaret's story isn't rare. 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls every year, and the bathroom or bedroom is often where it happens, especially during nighttime routines, including moments of self-pleasure. Why? Because intimacy and self-care require relaxation, but not at the cost of safety. Why this habit is so dangerous. Low lighting or cluttered rooms can increase your chances of tripping or slipping. Sharp furniture edges or unstable chairs can become hazards during moments of movement or repositioning. Unstable surfaces, like soft beds or slippery floors, reduce your balance, especially when your blood pressure drops or muscles tense during arousal. Medications that cause dizziness or fatigue can quietly increase risk during solo time. The very activity meant to bring you calm, comfort, or connection can end in fear, injury, or worse, if you're not mindful of your environment. Here's how to make it safer without killing the mood. Use soft, adjustable lighting. A warm bedside lamp, motion sensor nightlight, or dimmable switch can help you see clearly without harsh brightness. Clear your surroundings. Remove loose rugs, cluttered cords, or unnecessary objects around the bed, bathroom, or chair where you relax. Invest in support. Use body pillows, ergonomic chairs, or cushions to reduce strain. A grab bar by your bed or bathroom wall can make a big difference. Stay seated or reclined. If you sometimes feel lightheaded, avoid standing. Choose a secure, supported position where your body feels steady and comfortable. Keep essentials nearby. Water, tissues, medication, glasses, whatever you might need. Keep it within reach so you don't have to fumble in the dark. Let's be real. Your space should serve your well-being, physically and emotionally. Margaret, after her fall, rearranged her room. She added a small reading lamp, cleared a path from the bed, and even placed a cozy armchair in the corner where she now enjoys her nighttime wind-down. She didn't give up her rituals. She just made them safer. You've earned peace, pleasure, and protection. And with a few thoughtful tweaks, your environment can help you relax fully, without fear. Coming up next in habit number 5, we'll explore the subtle ways avoiding self-education about aging and sexuality can leave you feeling confused, disconnected, or even fearful of your own body. Are you ready to learn how knowledge can truly be power? Habit number 5, avoiding education about aging and sexuality. Let's be honest. How often do we talk openly about sexual health after 70? For many, the answer is almost never. And that silence? It can be more harmful than you think. Take Arthur, for example. At 74, he noticed some changes in his body: less sensitivity, slower arousal, and the occasional discomfort. He thought, maybe I'm just too old for this now. So he stopped. Not because he wanted to, but because he didn't know what was normal anymore. No one had told him that his body wasn't broken. It was simply changing. This is the reality for millions of older adults. When we avoid learning about how aging affects our bodies and sexuality, we often fall into fear, shame, or silence. And in that silence, pleasure, connection, and confidence begin to fade. Why this habit can be so damaging. Misinformation or outdated beliefs may convince you that desire or pleasure should be over at a certain age. That's simply not true. Unexplained symptoms like dryness, reduced libido, or delayed orgasm can lead to unnecessary worry or avoidance. Fear of judgment or embarrassment keeps many older adults from seeking help or trying new things. And perhaps worst of all, many seniors miss out on simple solutions that could restore comfort and joy in their intimate lives. Sexual health, just like heart health or bone health, changes with time. And like any other part of aging, knowledge is your greatest tool. Here's how you can break this habit and empower yourself. Start with trusted resources. Read books, watch educational videos, or visit websites that specialize in aging and sexuality. Yes, like this one. Knowledge is liberating. Talk to your doctor. Don't let embarrassment hold you back. Ask about hormone changes, medications, or physical challenges. You deserve answers. Explore safe communities. There are support groups, Online forums and workshops designed for older adults to ask questions and share experiences without shame. Remember, you're not alone. Millions of people over 70 still enjoy, explore, and value their sexuality. You're part of a much larger story than you may realize. Arthur eventually spoke to his doctor. He learned that his symptoms were normal and manageable. With a few small adjustments and a better understanding of what was happening, he rediscovered pleasure on his own terms. He didn't need to go backward. He just needed to move forward, informed and empowered. Curiosity doesn't age, and neither does the right to feel good in your body. In the next habit, we'll talk about something even more personal: how shame and guilt, often passed down through generations, can quietly sabotage your ability to enjoy intimacy in later life. Stick with me, because habit number 6 might just free you from something you didn't even realize was holding you back. Habit number 6: carrying shame or guilt around your sexuality. Let me ask you something gently. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to feel good, without guilt? For many people in their 70s, 80s, or beyond, pleasure has become complicated. Not because the body can't feel it, but because the mind won't allow it. We grew up in a time when sexuality was rarely talked about, especially not in older age. For many, religion, tradition, or even family culture painted sex as something taboo or dirty, especially when practiced alone. So what happens? Even when no one is judging us anymore, we begin to judge ourselves. And in doing so, we carry a silent weight, shame, guilt, or embarrassment around something as natural as touch, desire, or pleasure. Take Eleanor. She's 79, widowed for over a decade. She still feels desire, but whenever the urge comes up, she hears her mother's voice from 60 years ago. Nice women don't do that. So she pushes the feeling away. But the truth is, there's nothing not nice about loving your body. Why this habit is so harmful. Shame can disconnect you from your body, making even safe, healthy exploration feel wrong. Guilt leads to self-suppression, which over time can affect your confidence, mental health, and even physical well-being. Unspoken beliefs can cause unnecessary isolation, making you think you're the only one feeling this way. You're not. Most heartbreakingly, shame steals joy from something that's deeply human, healing, and meant to be experienced with tenderness. How to begin letting go of shame. Remind yourself, pleasure is a human right, not a privilege of youth. There's no expiration date on self-love, intimacy, or connection. Replace shame with compassion. When a judgmental thought comes up, ask, would I speak this way to a friend? If not, don't speak it to yourself. Journal your feelings. Write down where your beliefs around sex and pleasure came from. Whose voice is that in your head? Is it really your own? Seek stories that reflect you. Watch, read, or listen to content that celebrates aging and sexuality in a positive light. Seeing yourself represented can be deeply healing. Consider gentle therapy. A counselor who understands sexual wellness in older adults can help you unlearn shame and replace it with joy. Let's go back to Eleanor. She finally shared her feelings with a close friend at her senior center. To her surprise, her friend said, "Me too." That simple moment of connection broke the silence and gave Eleanor the freedom to begin exploring her desires again. This time, without apology. You are not broken. You are not too old. And you are not alone. Shame is not your birthright. Pleasure, confidence, and self-acceptance are. In the next habit, we'll talk about something even more empowering. How older adults can explore new forms of intimacy, even solo pleasure, in ways that are joyful, safe, and deeply satisfying. Let's keep going. Habit number 7 might open the door to something beautiful. Habit number 7. Ignoring the possibility of new pleasure. Let's be honest. Many people believe that once they hit a certain age, sexual exploration is over. They think they've already experienced all there is to feel, that if things change, slow down, or stop working the way they used to, then that chapter must be closed. But what if I told you that one of the biggest mistakes older adults make is not being open to new kinds of pleasure? You see, pleasure isn't static. It evolves, just like we do. It's not limited to what you experienced in your 30s or 40s. In fact, many people over 70 report that with the right mindset and tools, they've discovered a deeper, more meaningful kind of satisfaction than ever before. Here's the truth. Your body may change, but your capacity for joy doesn't disappear. You just have to be willing to meet your body where it is now, instead of where it used to be. Why ignoring new pleasure can limit you. It can cause frustration when the old ways don't work as easily, and you assume the spark is gone. It closes the door to self-discovery and emotional connection, especially in solo experiences or with a partner. It reinforces the myth that older adults shouldn't be sexual beings, when in reality, intimacy might matter more now than ever. Here's what you can try. Instead, explore sensuality beyond performance. Pleasure isn't always about climax. It's about comfort, closeness, and curiosity. Focus on touch, warmth, and presence, whether it's with a partner or alone. Try tools designed for your comfort. There are products made specifically for older adults, like ergonomic massagers, easy-to-use vibrators, and soft-textured lubricants that work with aging skin and muscles. These aren't just for novelty. They're for accessibility, comfort, and joy. Experiment gently. Light pressure, slower rhythms, and mindful breathing can completely transform your experience. In fact, slowing down often makes the sensations stronger, not weaker. Use your environment. Soft lighting, calming music, scented oils. These sensory cues help set the mood, relax the nervous system, and enhance arousal. It's not just about what you do, it's about how you feel doing it. Talk to others. You'd be surprised how many older adults are also curious about expanding their pleasure, but feel shy. Support groups, books, or trusted friends can make you feel less alone on the journey. Let me tell you about Harold. At 78, he believed he was done with intimacy. His body had changed. His libido was slower. But after reading about other older men who embraced solo exploration in a new way, Harold bought a simple massager, lit a candle, and played his favorite music. It wasn't rushed or pressured, and for the first time in years, he felt something beautiful, not just physically, but emotionally. That night, Harold didn't just rediscover pleasure, he rediscovered himself. You are still a sensual being. You still deserve connection, touch, and joy. Don't limit yourself to the past. The future holds new kinds of pleasure, ones you haven't even imagined yet. And in our next habit, we'll talk about a powerful but often overlooked step. Why seeking help from a professional might be the smartest, most empowering move you can make for your health and happiness. Let's keep going. Habit number 8 might just shift the way you think about sexual wellness forever. Habit number 8, avoiding professional guidance. If there's one habit that quietly holds many older adults back from a fulfilling intimate life, it's this: not talking to a professional. Whether it's a doctor, therapist, or sexual health counselor, many seniors avoid bringing up their sexual concerns out of embarrassment, fear of being judged, or thinking it's just part of aging. But here's what you need to know. Sexual health is part of your overall health. And just like you'd see a doctor for your heart, joints, or sleep, you deserve that same support when it comes to intimacy and pleasure. Why avoiding professional help is a mistake. It can leave you struggling in silence with issues that are easily treatable, like vaginal dryness, erectile dysfunction, or pain during sex. It keeps you from discovering safe, modern solutions, including medications, physical therapy, hormone treatments, or adaptive tools. It may reinforce unnecessary shame around natural human needs, when in reality, your concerns are valid, common, and important. Let's be clear. You are not too old to ask questions about your body. You are not too old to want pleasure, connection, or fulfillment. And you are certainly not too old to deserve answers, respect, and personalized care. What you can do instead: book a conversation with your primary care provider. You don't have to know the right words. Just say, "I've noticed some changes in how I experience intimacy. Can we talk about it?" That one sentence opens the door. Ask about specialists. There are professionals trained specifically in sexual medicine, menopause care, geriatric urology, and more. You're not alone, and they've helped thousands of people just like you. Explore therapy. Sex therapists are compassionate guides who can help you overcome emotional blocks, relationship struggles, or even past trauma that's affecting how you feel now. Don't wait for a crisis. You don't need to be in pain or distress to seek help. Proactive care is often the key to preserving long-term sexual wellness. Let me tell you about Martha, a 74-year-old widow who spent years quietly dealing with discomfort during intimacy. She assumed it was just part of getting older. But one day, her friend convinced her to talk to her gynecologist. Within weeks, she started using a gentle, hormone-free treatment that changed everything. "I felt like myself again," Martha said, "and I realized I didn't have to suffer in silence." There is no shame in seeking support. In fact, it's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. You've cared for others your whole life. Now, it's time to let someone care for you too, with respect, dignity, and understanding. Coming up next, we'll wrap up this important conversation with a powerful reminder. Embracing your sexuality in later life is not just possible, it's deeply meaningful. Stay with me for one final thought. As we wrap up this conversation, let me leave you with this. Your sexuality doesn't end with age, it simply evolves. The world may not always talk openly about it, but your desire for touch, connection, and pleasure is still a vital part of who you are. Whether you're 70, 80, or beyond, your body is still yours. Your needs still matter, and your joy is still worth pursuing. Today, we explored 8 important truths about physical changes, emotional well-being, health risks, and the freedom to embrace your desires without shame. Maybe some of these habits resonated with you. Maybe you saw yourself in one of the examples. If so, I want you to remember something. There is no right age to stop exploring, learning, or loving yourself. You are not too old. You are not alone. And you are never past the point of discovering joy in your own body. So what's one small thing you'll take with you from this video? A mindset shift? A new self-care habit? The courage to ask a question you've been holding in for too long? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share what stood out to you or what you plan to try. Your story might just encourage someone else who's been waiting to feel seen. And if this video helped you, please give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating honest, empowering content for older adults just like you. Thank you for watching. Until next time, be kind to yourself. You deserve it.